Get the guitar. Hold with it up. All righty. Okay, got it. Let's go. Go, go, go. Okay. Let's get some songs out. Oops, sorry about that. Songs. Okay. Haruna Puravate Vijamani Gora Mani Jage Wakata Samu Aloila Sate Gila Nagara Brashe Tatai Tatai Majalako Kana kana tahi chanero Preme kana sana hanga Jana neno burak jay Kunamada vagyara Oli Oli na polore Ajana pore Chanda Sequelo Rati Ivashashari Raja Day Emanatula Hapateo Ayakiko Mabanakeo Lapashale Shula Suda Chame bori bela je Utita tapana moesta Dina boya wole oebe dasta Ya bake oebe alasaloe Jarit doya je Ivana Nitja Jana Sa Nana Nana Vida Madapa Machaya Kori Janana Kome Takapana Kane Jivera Kalana Sana Ko Takadeya Siye Madhuna nagara braje Rakata Samuhalaya Sate Gela nagara braje Haribo 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 Nichako Haribo 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhu Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravatikacharya all Stotella Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Chananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Kriyas Thakur Jai Param Say Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasiti Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Shai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Munamai Ki Jai Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Gaur. All glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious to Shri Guru and Gaura. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya. Putale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi. Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarni. So let's read translation. When the rising sun appeared in the east, the jewel, the twice-born Lord Gauranga awakened. Gathering his devotees around him, he set out to preach in the countryside, towns, and villages. Tatai, tatai, sounded the mridanga drums, and the cymbals chimed in time. Lord Gaurasundar's shimmering golden features danced, and his ankle bells jingled. Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari chanted the devotees, their mouths filled with vibration. Calling out, they preached to the still sleeping. You spend your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Although you have achieved a rare human birth, you do not care for this precious gift. Instead, you refrain from serving the darling of Yashoda and slowly fall through your last moments to death. With every rising and setting of the sun, a day passes and is lost. Why do you then remain idle and not serve the Lord of the heart? This life is temporary and full of various miseries. Take shelter of the holy name as your only business, to penetrate the darkness of ignorance and to bless everyone's heart. The sweet holy name has risen like the shining sun. Drink deeply the pure nectar of Krishna's holy name, which is the life and soul of Bhakti Vinod. The holy name's side, there is nothing to be had in all the 14 worlds. Beautiful poem by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Wow. Really amazing, beautiful poem. Okay. So, we will go on to the Jaiva Dharma, with everybody's permission. So, we're in a very interesting part of the Jaiva Dharma, so without further ado, Om Gana Timidandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, whose His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly freed me from the darkness of ignorance with a torchlight of knowledge. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, so let's share the screen. Jaiva Dharma. Okay. So we are at Brajanath's house, and some devotees from the Ramanuja Sampradaya visited. And these devotees were received very nicely by Brajanath and family. One interesting thing is these devotees actually smoked ganja. That is not bona fide. It's not that every devotee or many devotees of the Ramanuja Sampradaya smoke ganja. It's not the standard. So, seeing the Tulsi beads on their necks and the 12 tilak marks on their bodies, the Sri Vaishnavas welcomed them and spread a blanket for them to sit. When questioned by Brajanath, one Babaji said, "Sir, we saw Ayodhya," that's the place of Lord Ramchandra, "and have come to Sridham Navadvip. We thought of seeing the pastime places of Chaitanya Prabhu." Brajanath said, "You've arrived at Navadvip. Rest here today and see Mahaprabhu's birthplace and Shivasa Anga." The two Babajis in great bliss recited from the Gita 15:6. Yadgat nadivartante dhamma paramamama. So the translation of that, which is not given here, is that when one goes there to the spiritual world, he doesn't have to take birth again, and that spiritual world is Krishna's supreme abode. Going to that Dham, one does not return. Well, actually, that's what it says. But also, that Dham is the supreme abode of Krishna. Today, we have been fortunate. We have seen Maya Tirtha, the chief among the 7 cities. That's Mayapur. The two Babajis, sitting under the jackfruit tree, began reading the Artha Panchaka. So Artha basically means economic development or acquiring things in this world. It's a scripture that deals with how to do economic development, in a Vedic way. After hearing the descriptions of the 5 topics of Paraswarupa, means transcendental form, one's own form, Upaya Swarup, Virodi Swarup, and Purushartha Swarup, the Purushartha, one desired Swarup, Vijay Kumar took the Sri Sampradaya's Tattva Traya, and it means the 3 tattvas, describing the 3 tattvas, and began deliberating on it intently. After much deliberation, Vijay Kumar said, "What is the conclusion concerning Nama Tattva in your Sampradaya?" That means the truth of the holy name in your disciplic succession. Rajanath and Vijay Kumar were not at all happy on hearing what the two said. In other words, I think we're having some offenses here. Not by Brajanath and Vijay Kumar, but by these other pundits. Brajanath said, "Uncle, after much deliberation, I have seen that there is nothing auspicious for the jiva except taking shelter of Krishna's name. Our Lord Gauranga appeared in Maya Tirtha in order to preach to the world the pure Krishna Nama, Krishna name. When our Guru taught us yesterday, he said that the name is the chief among all types of bhakti. He also said that we should understand Nama Tattva separately, the truth of the holy name. Oh, Uncle, let us go today in the evening and understand this topic well." Taking care of the 2 Vaishnavas, they spent the afternoon talking on various subjects. So obviously, the 2 Vaishnavas really didn't have the right understanding. So here's an explanation of the word. Prap, that which is to be obtained. That's God. Praptri, one who obtains. Upaya, the means of achieving. Prapti Virodi, that which obstructs attainment, and Prapti, the jiva's attainment. Raghunath Das Babaji sat among them, chanting japa and tulsi beads. At that time, Brajanath and Vijay Kumar came and offered respects. Babaji embraced them and said, "Has the joy of your bhajan increased?" Vijay Kumar, with folded hands, said, "Prabhu, by your mercy, everything is auspicious. Please teach us Nama today." So I thought these two personalities were already on the level, or attaining Baba, and they haven't been taught Nama Tattva. So it's usually from what I'm used to, Nama Tattva is one of the first things that's taught to people, even when they're on the stage of, even before, internet connection unstable, even before they come to the stage of sadhana. That's like introductory stuff. So Babaji, with a joyful face, said, "The Lord has two types of names." You'll find a lot of this information in the Harinam Chintamani. Primary, Mukhya, and secondary, Gona names. The names which are used while taking support of Maya's gunas after the creation of the material world are called secondary names. In other words, referring to the Lord as creator or Lord of the universe, like that. They are related to the guna. They are secondary names such as Shrishti Karta, is what I just said, creator, or Jagatpata, protector of the universe, or Vishwa Niyanta, regulator of the universe, Vishwa Palaka, ruler of the universe, Paramatma, etc. As well, some names like Brahman, etc., in opposition to the gunas of Maya, are considered among the secondary names. Also, there's another category of secondary names, which just refers to Krishna, like the word God, for example. Okay, secondary, because it's not a personal name. Though the secondary names give many results, they do not directly or immediately give spiritual results. So in other words, and names universe, like Paramatma, you get spiritual results. Good, you get not full spiritual results. The names of Bhagawan, which are eternally present in the spiritual world beyond the material space and time, are the primary and spiritual names. Names such as Narayana, Vasudeva, Janardana, Rishikesha, Huriya, Chuta, Govinda, Gopal, Krishna, Rama are all primary. I guess depends on how you would use the word Narayana, because Narayana means like the resting place of all the living entities. So it can be used in that context or as the Lord in the spiritual world. Yeah. So sometimes the names can be utilized in 2 or 3 different ways according to the context or the intention. All these or form. These names, most in the material world and attracted by bhakti, dance on the tongue of human beings. The material world has no relationship with the name or these names. The name is by its nature the name, editing mistake here. The name by its nature is full of all the Lord's Shaktis. Appearing within the material world, it destroys Maya. There is no friend of the jiva in the material world except the name of the Lord. Sounds like Bhakti Vinod, which it is. Like the song Jiv Jago. Other than myself, the holy name, you have no friend in this material world. So, of course, there's that famous verse, which he might quote later. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigra Purnashuranito Vinatwam Nama Namano. The holy name is the desire factor. Nama Chintamani Krishna. Just Chaitanya. It is the full form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purna, it is complete. It is pure. Eternally liberated. Nitya Mukto. Vinatvam namanamino. It is not different from the person Krishna. In other words, in the material world, as I think everybody knows, the name is different than the person to whom it refers to. Like if you say my name, even my spiritual name, Vira Krishna Goswami, I'm not present in my name. Whereas if you say Krishna's name, he's present. If you say the name of a material object, that object is not present. Like prophets would often say, you can chant water, 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 and water will not be there. So a famous verse from the Brihanar, the Purana that all the devotees chant on a regular basis. Hare Nama, Hare Nama. Hare Nama, Raiva Kaivalam. Kalo Nascheva, 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 Gotiranyata. There's no other way, no other way in Kali Yuga except the name of the Lord, the name of the Lord, the name of the Lord. Now you may say, why does I have to say it 3 times? Well, the Vedic system is if you say something 3 times, it actually means it's true. Of course, if you say it 1 time, it's really true too, like if some pure devotee says it. But it puts extra emphasis, like it's one of the primary points. It's a primary point, and it's absolutely true. For jivas in the fire of sin, the name uproots all sins. In the Garuda Purana, it is said, Avashina Biyannamni Kirtite Sarvapatakai Puman Vimuchyate Sadya Singha Thrastire Mrigaiva. Man is immediately freed of all sins, even by accidentally chanting the Lord's name. Just as animals flee from a lion. Of course, that's called namabas. Accidentally chanting the name, meaning something else, or just accidentally chanting, or making fun of the devotees. Oh, those Hare Krishnas. The person who takes shelter of the name is free of all suffering by chanting. It can destroy all sickness. The Skanda Purana says, Adyo Yadyo Yastyas Maranam Nama Kirtanat Tadaiva Vilayam Yanti Tamanantam Lamam Yaham. I offer respect to Ananta. By remembering or chanting his name, mental and physical ailments are immediately destroyed. A person who chants the name of the Lord easily purifies his family and associates. Brahmanda Purana says, Mahavata Yukto Bhi Kirtihan Namarim Ashudanta Karno Bhutva Jayate Punkti Pavanaha. Even if a person has committed Mahahataka, means a great sin, if he glorifies the Lord day and night, he purifies his heart and purifies his relatives. The name gives relief from all suffering for a person surrendered to the name. In the Brihat Vishnu Purana, it is said, Sarva Roke Pashamam Sarva Padravanashanam Shantidam Sarvarishtanam Harer Namanu Kirtanam. Chanting the Lord's name destroys all diseases, all disturbances, all hindrances, and gives peace. The obstacles of Kali Yuga. Oh, internet connection unstable again. The obstacles of Kali Yuga do not remain for the person who chants the name. So here it says, the murder of a Brahmin, taking of liquor, theft, and intercourse with a preceptor's wife. Very sinful. You become free from the reaction. Of course, now that you do that and then chant and do it again and chant, it's like if accidentally something happens and you don't use the name to become free from sin. You just take up the chanting and remain free of it afterwards. Just like in the Bible where there is a prostitute who is being stoned. She isn't stoned, she's being stoned. There's a difference. Where they're throwing stones, that's a traditional way of killing someone who has committed a crime. and she's being stoned, and Jesus Christ intercedes. And he says, he who is without sins, him throw the first stone. And no one throws the stone. And Jesus Christ says to the prostitute, go and sin no more. So that's the point. Hare Keshava Govinda Vasudeva Jaganmaya Itarayanti Nityam Nahitan Vadate Kali. Kali Yuga does not harass Hare Keshava Govinda Vasudeva and Jaganmaya. Just by hearing the name, one is delivered from hell. As Narasimha Purana says, Yata Yata Hare Nama Kirtiyanti Smanaraka Tata Tata Rovati Udvahanto Divam Yayu. The residents of hell who in the name of the Lord develop bhakti and go to the spiritual world. If one chants the name of the Lord, karmas are destroyed. It's very interesting to point out again. What is a parabdha karma? Parabdha karma means the karma you're suffering from now. The karmas that arrange the type of body that you have. Oh my God. The karmas that arrange, how much brains you have. The karmas that arrange how ugly or attractive you are. All those karmas get destroyed. Now, this is something that we've argued with devotees, some devotees, again and again and again. They say it doesn't destroy parabdha karmas. Well, the acharyas say it destroys parabdha karmas. They say, well, if the parabdha karmas were destroyed, then the body would be destroyed. And I say, no. The body is a result of the parabdha karmas. And the Lord, from that point onwards, takes care of the devotee. And that's what Prabhupada said. We shouldn't minimize the holy name. Anybody who minimizes the holy name, they're in spiritual trouble. And actually there was a discussion. Yes, there was a discussion between Haridas Thakur and the assembly place of the Madhumras, who were the uncle and father of Raghunath Das Goswami, and Haridas Thakur made that point. And what happened is there was this rascal named Gopal Chakravarti who disagreed, and he had such an argument with Haridas Thakur that he said, if you're not right, I'm going to cut your nose off. And Haridas Thakur said, I'd cut my own nose off. But shortly after that, this particular rascal, what happened? He got leprosy. And his beautiful nose melted just by committing that offense against the holy name. So to minimize the holy name, minimize the potency of the holy name, can't do that, you're in trouble. The holy name is directly Krishna. It's directly Krishna. How many Krishnas Chaitanya Rasavi? Purna Shuddha Nijamukto Vidvam Namanamino. It is non-different than Krishna. So, Yanama Yamriyamanachatura Patans Kalam Vivasho Grinan Puman Vimukta Karamar Gala Uttamam Gatim Prapnoti Yakshanti Natam Kalo Jana. Terrified about to die, collapsing with faltering voice. If a person utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the chains of karma and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in Kali Yuga, in the age of Kali, will not worship the Supreme Lord. That's from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 3rd chapter, text 44. The name of the Lord is superior to the Vedas. Wow. Even the Vedas say that. Skanda Purana says, Marutoma Yajustata Masama Patakinjana Govindeti Haranama Gyam Gayashva Nityasha. Do not recite the Rig, Yajur, or Samavedas. Constantly chant the name of the Lord Govinda. Wow. Which is worthy of being chanted. And that's from the Skanda Purana. Don't recite these verses. Just recite Govinda or Hare Krishna, Gopal, direct, personal, primary names of Krishna. The name of the Lord is all tirthas. Tirtha means a holy place. It also means a crossing place, a place where you can cross to go back to the spiritual world. So the name of the Lord is superior to all the different holy places. Wow. The name of the Lord is more powerful. The Lord has imbued the name, with more power than he himself manifests. For example, one time Hanuman was defending a king who Lord Ram was very, very, very angry with him because the king had offended a sage. And I believe the sage was Vashishta Muniya or Visramita, one of the two. And so the king insisted that Lord Ramchandra kill this particular king. And so Hanuman was protecting him, but the way that Hanuman was protecting him was that Hanuman was chanting the name of Ram, 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 Sita Ram, Sita Ram. And Lord Ram's weapons could not act when he chanted the names of Ram. Interesting. And the reason, okay, tell more of the story. The reason that Ram, or this king had committed an offense is because Narada Muni told him to commit an offense. Because Narada wanted to see this and prove the point that the name of the Lord is more potent than the Lord, or more powerful than the Lord himself. It is the Lord, and that the Lord has imbued the name with all of the potencies. Sarva Shaktis, Tetrapita Ta Smarane Kala. Nam Nam Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, as the Shikshastika states. Vamana Purana says, Tirthakoti Sasrani, Tirthakoti Shatani Cha, Tani Sarvanya Vapnoti, Vishnur Namani Kirtanat. From chanting the name Vishnu, one attains millions upon millions of tirthas. Whew. Just chanting Vishnu's name. And we're going to hear, hopefully we're going to hear how the name of Krishna is, like many, many more times more potent than Ram. No, Vishnu, sorry. The name of Ram is something like 1,000 times more potent than Vishnu. And is it 1,000 or a million? And the name of Krishna is 3 times more potent than the name of Ram or Balaram. The name of the Lord is greater than all satkarmas. I mean, like spiritual activities. Skanda Purana says, Go koti dhanam grahane kaldasha prayaga gangodata pavasa Yagyayutam meru suvarna dhanam Govinda kirterna samang shatang shai. Giving 10 million cows in charity on the occasion of solar or lunar eclipses, living in holy places upon the banks of the Ganges, Ganga, or at Prayag for as long as 4 yugas, conducting countless sacrifices and donating gold in quantities exceeding the weight of Mount Meru, are not equal to 1/100th of the results of performing kirtan of the names of Govinda. Listen to that. Wow. One time chanting the names of Govinda cannot be compared to all these different activities combined. Wow. Wow. We. Chanting the Lord's name is everything. Skanda Purana says, Etat sadvarga haranam rupu anigrahanam param anyanam param adhyatma moolam me tadze vishnor namanu kirtan. Chanting the name of Vishnu destroys the 6 vargas, lust, anger, greed, bewilderment, intoxication, and envy, and defeats the enemies. It is the basis of spiritual life. The name of the Lord has all Shaktis. The Skanda Purana says, these are beautiful verses in glorification of Krishna's names, and actually increases our faith by hearing this glorification from the Shastras. Dhanavrata tapas tirtha chitrat diyam jayastata shaktiyo deva mahatam sarva papa harasura rajasuyashvamedanam gyanasyadyatma vastuna akrishya harina sarva sapita Preshunamasu. All the Shaktis to remove sin and create auspiciousness situated in the great devatas, charity, penances, vows, pilgrimage, Rajasuya and Ashwamedha sacrifices, knowledge of Atma, and so on. The Supreme Lord is collected together and infused into his name, so everything's there. Wow! All the potency, all the results of charity, penance, pilgrimages, performing the Rajasuya or Ashwamedha sacrifices, spiritual knowledge, everything. Purna, as we read the verse before. Purna Shuddha Nityamukto. It is perfect and complete and eternally liberated. The name of the Lord gives bliss to the whole universe. Bhagavad Gita 11:36 is one of my favorite verses. Stane rikesha tava prakritya jagat pravishjat yanudurajyate cha. O controller of the senses, rightly the world chanting your name rejoices and becomes attracted to you by this celebrated form. And actually the rest of the verse is put there. Demons are afraid and they flee here and there. It makes the demons afraid. The world, the breathe not upon us. Narayana Jagannatha Vasudeva Janata Iti Rayanti Enacham. Those who constantly chant the names of Narayana, Jagannatha, Vasudeva, and Janardana are worshipped everywhere. The name is the shelter for persons with no shelter. Padma Purana says, Ananyo Gatiyo Martya Boginopi Purantapa Jnana Vairagya Rahita Brahmacharya Divarajata Sarva Dharma Jita Vishnor Nama Matraika Jalpaka Sukhena Yam Gatim Yantim Natam Sarvepi Dharmaka. Those who have taken shelter of the name, though they are enjoyers, heroic fighters, devoid of jnana and vairagya, devoid of brahmacharya, etc., or devoid of all dharma, they're adharmic. If they say the name of the Lord, these people attain the goal easily, which persons who follow all dharmas do not achieve. The Lord is to be chanted at all times. That's from the Vishnu Dharmotara, which says, Nadesha Niyamas Tasmin, Nakala Niyamas Tata, No chistada nishedosti, Shri Harer Namni Rubdaka. For a person greedy for the name of the Lord, there's no restriction on time, place, or there are no forbiddances, such as being contaminated after eating. So, what does that sound like? Sounds like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshasika. Nam namakari bahuda nija sarvashatishta trapitani mata smarane kala. Etadrashi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi. Durdaiva drisham iham anu agra. They Niyamena Tishtan, the same expression. Yes, Niyamas Tata. Niyamas. Deja Niyamas. Kala Niyamas. That means no time, place, or circumstance. Restrictions on chanting the holy name. You can chant it while you're eating. You can chant it even when you're relieving yourself in the field. I mean, you should chant it 24 hours a day because you don't know when you're going to croak. If you don't know what croaking is, look it up in the dictionary. The name easily gives liberation to those who desire it. The Varaha Purana says, Narayanat Shutanta Vasudevetiyo Nara Satatam Kirtayad Bhuvi Yatimal Layatam Sihi. The person who constantly chants Narayana, Achyuta, Ananta, and Vasudeva on the earth merges with me. Doesn't mean they actually merge into Krishna. They actually enter into the spiritual world with Krishna. Garuda Purana says, Kim Kashyati Sankyena Kim Yugarnaranayaka Mukti Michasi Rajendra Kuru Govinda Kirtanam. O king, what is the use of Sankhya or yoga? Sankhya is the analytical study of the material energy. Or yoga. You desire liberation from kirtan of Govinda's name. Wow. Chanting the name of the Lord bestows Vaikuntha to the jiva. Nandi Purana says, Nandi is Lord Shiva's carrier. Yes, a Purana. Sarvatra sarvakaleshu yepi kurvanti patatam nama sankirtanam kritva yantishno param padam. Even those who perform sins at all places and times attain the abode of Vishnu by chanting his name. Story of Ajamil, who fully chanted Krishna's name or Narayan's name at the time of leaving his body. He became purified so that later on he was able to extend his life, perform more austerities, and eventually go back to the spiritual world. Chanting the Lord's name pleased the Lord. The Brihan Naradiya Purana says, Nama Sankirtanam Vishnu Kshutrit Prapititadishu Karoti Satatam Vipras Tasha Prito Yadhoksaja. The Lord is pleased with the Brahmin who constantly chants his name while afflicted by hunger and thirst. You don't wait to be afflicted. The name of the Lord is able to control the Lord. The Mahabharata says, Rinametat pravritame hridayana sarpati yad govendeti tukrosho Krishna mam duravasanam. The debt always increasing does not leave my heart, since Draupadi, situated far away, shouted, O Govinda to me. And actually there's at least two instances of that in the Mahabharata. Of course, the most famous incident was when Dushashan, attempting to disrobe Draupadi, and Draupadi was trying to fight against him, but it's pretty useless to try to fight against this big thug. And she eventually threw up her hands and said, Oh Govinda! And Krishna supplied unlimited sorry. Another time that I can remember right now, because there may be many, many more times that I'm sure there were. Another time is when the Pandavas were in the forest and they had this pot that was given them, which would produce unlimited amount of food as long as Draupadi had not eaten her meal for the day. Okay. And so what happened is the Pandavas had finished their meal, Draupadi had finished her meal, and who comes along with like 10,000 disciples? But Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni was actually sent by the Kauravas to try to trick them or trick him into cursing the Pandavas. So anyway, so the Durvasa Muni comes and he says, well, we'd like some prasadam. And it's the duty of the host to give prasadam, especially if your guest is Durvasa Muni, you better just give him everything he wants, or else he gets very angry. So the Pandavas didn't know what to do because this pot had been used for the day and could no longer action and stable again. So they didn't know what to do. And so basically thought, let's buy some time. They told Durvasa Muni, please just take your bath, go to the sacred river, take your bath, do your Gayatri mantra, put your tilak on, and come back and we'll have prasad for you. And Durvasa Muni and his associates were very happy. So they went to the river to take their bath. And when they were in the river taking their bath, Pandavas got more and more in anxiety, especially Draupadi, who is also called Krishna because she's such a great devotee of Krishna, and also she's blackish like Krishna. What she did is she got so upset she started crying out Krishna's name. She said, "Oh Govinda, oh Govinda, oh Govinda," because Krishna told her that I'll come and help you if you cry out my name. And that same guarantee applies too. Krishna will help us if we chant his name. We're taking shelter of our intelligence, our emotions, some of these things. But Krishna's name is the ultimate shelter. So, anyway, so she chants, Govinda, Govinda. And Krishna comes. He says, what is the problem, my dear devotee? And she says, this is the problem. We don't have any food. And Durvasa Muni and his disciples are coming back, and they're going to be very hungry and very angry. So Krishna said, well, let's see what happens. But first, give me some prasadam. And Draupadi got even more in anxiety. I can't feed you either. And Krishna said, let me see what's in the pot. Just let me take a look at it. He looks at the pot, and he sees 1 grain of rice in the pot. And he takes that grain of rice, pops it in his mouth. Because the rice was cooked or given by devotion, by Draupadi, of course, Krishna is fully satisfied. Like in the Gita, Krishna says, one can satisfy him by a leaf of fruit or a little water with devotion. Of course, that's if you have millions of dollars or tons of bhoga, it's not that you should just offer 1 leaf or a little fruit or a little water. You should offer a lot more. So Krishna took that. He was satisfied because if you satisfy Krishna, everyone becomes happy with you. That very moment, the sage, Durvasa Muni, and all of his associates were actually filled to the brim, even though they hadn't eaten. And they started to burp. They said, oh my God, we got full stomachs now. What are we going to do? So they were scared because they wanted to offend the Pandavas, who they thought had prepared a very large feast. And they thought, we had this bad experience with Maharaj Ambarish before where he was offended and we were almost killed by the Sudarshan chakra. So we better not offend the Pandavas. So Durvasa Muni and his disciples, they just ran away. So that's the holy name. And we all have access to the holy name in the same way. Now, it's not to say that, let's say, danger that Krishna will come with his flute. But Krishna will take care of us in one way or the other, arrange that the best possible thing happens for us. Okay, we can unmute and take some questions from all of you. Allow you to unmute. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? You can. Oh, Krishna Priya Devi Dasi. So ask a
Thank you,
question.
Dave. Welcome back. Well, when
Welcome.
we first started speaking, he was saying how, Nam Tapa is one of the first we know that's given, like Guru Tapa and Nam Tapa. So then I was kind of deliberating on this, and as you went on speaking, could it be that, like, how it was presented was that, like, they were chanting the holy name and they were having all these experiences. So they were experiencing it and they had complete faith in the holy name. But then when they came in front with the those sannyasis from the other sampradaya, that they weren't able to give the siddhanta, they weren't able to have the proper backing to argue with. So it was that kind of why it was then they were giving the siddhanta.
Well, actually, even before they met with, if you remember the story, even before they met with the sannyasis, the Babaji said, "Tomorrow I'm going to teach you about the Namatattva." So even contextually, the topic was brought up before they weren't Mayavadi sannyasis, so they were people with improper. Yeah, they were Ramanuja sannyasis, but with an improper understanding of what Ramanujacharya taught. And so somehow the sequence is there that I mean naturally, yeah, because the Babaji said tomorrow I'm going to teach you, and then all of a sudden these people asked the question. I guess it was serendipity, as they say. But in any case, the normal sequence of the guru's interaction with the disciple is to actually teach them Nam Tattva in the very beginning. That's the normal sequence. It's like Prabhupada had us distribute the Harinam Chintamani even in public and give it to new devotees so that they would understand the point about the holy name. So it's still, I still have questions about the whole sequence. I mean, of course, the tattvas are being explained, everything's being explained nicely by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it's a story, but I would say naturally the guru would do Nam Tattva before anything else. Nam Tattva. Because that's the essence. Even before you get into, bhavas or prema, because even as far as, of course, even if you take the nectar of devotion, Namatat was presented in nectar of devotion by Rupa Goswami in the section of Vaidhi Bhakti. Offenses against the holy name, etc., like that. Okay, good question. Okay, so next is on the hit parade is Abhay Chaitanya. You have a question.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev, please accept my respectful obeisances. Gurudev, can you hear me? Haribol?
Haribol.
Haribol, Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hear me?
Yes, Gurudev, I can.
I think everybody
just
can hear me. You can.
No, I can hear you, Gurudev. It's just breaking up a little bit. Is it okay now?
Yeah, can you hear me fine now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So, Gurudev, my question was that in the class we've heard that how powerful Krishna's holy name is, that even uttering it once is so beneficial. It's actually more beneficial than so many Vedic sacrifices. So, when we have the holy name, the Harinam, when we do that in the streets and we have either devotees or non-devotees chant Krishna's name, then what does it do to them? Like, does it bring them to a platform or something, or are they able to go back to Godhead? Like, are all their sins, vanquished? Like, what happens if they utter the holy name just even once like that?
Well, all their sins are vanquished, and their path on devotional service is commenced, is started. Just like when I heard Prabhupada chanting for the first time on the radio, it's not that I was immediately like 100% purified, but I was set on the path of purification. So we're actually setting people on the path of purification and relieving them from all sorts of karma. Even if someone attends the Rath Yatra and sees Lord Jagannath, they're actually being relieved from all sorts of karma and having the Bhakti Lata Beach, because seeing Lord Jagannath means they're also hearing the holy name, because that's what people are doing during the Rath Yatra. But the most important part of the Rath Yatra is the chanting of the Lord's holy names. So yes, they are being immensely benefited. And they will go back to Godhead. Their devotional life is being commenced at that point. All right?
So, thank you, Gurudev. So they have the opportunity then to say they've sort of nullified their reactions and they can commence. But it's again up to them how they pursue that. Isn't that right? It's not an automatic process.
Yes. Yeah. It's not automatic. It may take thousands or millions of births. But they've started their devotional service. They've had the Bhakti Lata Bij implanted in their heart.
Jai, thank you very much, Gurudev.
All right, Haribol. And we have Sri Radhika.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my observations.
My blessing.
Thank you. I have a couple questions, Maharaj. One, I'm assuming that Jaiva Dharma means the Dharma of the Jiva. Is that what it means?
Well, it's hard. Your voice is breaking up.
Is the meaning of the word Jaiva Dharma, is that the Dharma of the Jiva?
Parama. I didn't quite catch what you're saying. Is the Paramatma the Jiva? Is that your question?
She's asking us the meaning of the Jaiva Dharma, mean the Dharma of the Jiva.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. The Dharma of the Jiva.
And then another question, Maharaj, is one of the sentences you read said that, the holy name prevents all diseases. I'm just trying to understand that because, devotees end up with a lot of diseases.
Uh-oh. Is her voice breaking up for everybody, or is it just for me?
For all of us, Prabhu.
For all of you.
It's breaking up
Yeah.
here.
Can you understand what she was asking? Someone. Yeah, it's really hard to understand. Your internet connection and wherever you're connecting with is not really clear.
Is
Maybe
it
she
better
could
now,
ask
Maharaj?
At least to
again.
me. What was that, Krishnapriya?
If she let her ask again, maybe I can hear.
No, she went off already.
Okay.
Okay, because she was having trouble with internet connection. So tomorrow she'll ask that question. Okay, on that happy note, it's time. The internet vagaries. That happens sometimes. Thank you very much. We'll speak to everybody or see everybody tomorrow, same time, same station. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Oh, there was a question here. The story with Draupadi. Does she offer Krishna food that is already prasad? Because assume she already offered the rice he ate out of the pot. Yes, obviously it was already prasad. But Krishna accepts everything from the hands of his pure devotee, even if the devotee's already eaten. That's, just like you have the story of, what is her name again? Hold on a second. Shobari. Shobari, who wanted to offer Lord Ram the tastiest fruits. And what she did was that she actually ate each little fruit. It was just like some sort of berries or whatever. She ate each fruit first, tasted it, and then she gave it to Lord Ram to eat. So Lord Ram was directly eating the remnants. And Lakshman said, "Hey, this is completely inappropriate." And Lord Ram said, "Be quiet, Lakshman. She's doing it with devotion." So that's an interesting story from the Ramayana.